Hello, and welcome to today's episode of The Sovereign Shift. I'm your host, Chelsea Eden Dubeau, and today I had the privilege and opportunity to speak with Cathy Nesbitt, a fellow Canadian and also someone with a really interesting past and present. So she has been a worm advocate and now is a teacher of laughter yoga. I'll actually read you her official bio here. So, Cathy Nesbitt is a health and wellness advocate, the founder of Cathy's Crawly Composters, which was established in 2002, Cathy's Sprouters, and now Cathy's Laughter Club. She's a multi award winning environmental innovator who uses workshops and inspirational speaking to motivate people to live a more sustainable life and is an avid cyclist and gardener. And honestly, she's just pure joy to speak with. Um, I think everyone has heard me harp on and on and on about breath work. And again, we'll take a few moments to settle into today's experience. But she brings an aspect of nervous system regulation through laughter yoga that I totally didn't even think about, and one that I think I would really be interested in incorporating into my own work as well. Uh, so she's just a wealth of knowledge, not only about worms and what they represent in terms of our sovereignty, in terms of an alternative way of living, of composting, of living more holistically and more attuned with earth. But she also talks about the laughter yoga as being a really wonderful way of breaking the emotional feedback loops that we sometimes find ourselves in. I just want to take a few moments to just settle into today, wherever you are listening to this, whether it's in your car, you can do this, just don't shut your eyes. Uh, take a deep breath in through the nose, fill the belly, the chest, the upper lobes of the lungs, and just let that breath out through the mouth. Take that deep breath in. And just drop in. Just drop in. Wherever you're listening to this, watching this, wherever you're taking this in, just take a moment to connect with this, right? That's what this is all about. I came to the interview today. It was a long day, had a little bit of stress, lots of stimulation, family, work, the whole thing. And I found that after speaking with Cathy, after taking those moments of self-care, just to laugh, it really did completely change my energy. Even right now, it was just pure joy. So I really hope you get from this episode what I've gotten. I hope it translates. I hope it ripples out. And I hope you feel inspired to, again, listen the whole way through and maybe even catch up with Cathy. But regardless, I'll see you on the flip side.
Welcome to The Sovereign Shift, the podcast for women ready to reclaim their voice, their nervous system, and their power in a world that demands they stay small. I'm Chelsea Eden Dubeau, founder of The Sovereign Shift, creator of Woo Breathwork, and your guide on this breath-led journey into sovereignty of self, system, and spirit. Each episode, I sit down with powerful women, thought leaders, everyday revolutionaries, and allied voices to explore the real, raw, and radical path to embodied sovereignty. We talk about stress, burnout, addiction, motherhood, balance, sexuality, leadership, and breath-led spiritual awakening. And yes, we go deep into all things woo, the divine feminine, altered states of consciousness, intuition, ritual, and the parts of womanhood that have been exiled or dismissed as too much by patriarchal systems. Here, truth is medicine, breath is power, and your sovereignty, non-negotiable. Let's begin.
Coming in the room. Here I come. Wait, I'm coming. There I am.
Hello.
Hi, Chelsea. How are you?
I'm well, Cathy. How are you doing?
So far, so good.
Yay. Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna check my audio settings here. I have like a menagerie that I live with, and they usually decide to be jerks like exactly when I hit record.
I love it.
I am so excited to talk with you today, Cathy. Tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm a laughter ambassador. I help people get out of stress and into joy with laughter techniques.
That's amazing.
Right?
How did
Simple.
how did you get into that work anyway?
Well, that's the backstory. It's the 23rd anniversary of my worm business,
Oh,
selling worms by the pound for indoor composting.
wow.
You're in Canada, is that right?
I am, yes. Yeah.
I am too. So, yeah, in 2002, our landfill closed for the Greater Toronto Area, and we started to export our garbage to the US. Crazy. It's insane the solutions that we come up with. And
Yeah.
I laugh now because it's the 23rd anniversary and not everyone wants worms in the house. So in 2012, that's kind of how I got to laughter was I was selling worms, and then in 2012, one more person said, "Ew, worms in the house." And I heard it, I felt it, I questioned everything. And I was introduced to laughter yoga the very next day.
Wow. Okay, so they're very linked. They're very linked for you. And I
Yeah.
would have never have placed worms and laughter in the same like container, which is why I was so intrigued by your journey. So what led you to worms specifically?
I bought my house. I'm from Toronto, and in 1993 I bought my house in Bradford. Like most people, I mean, today people can't afford to live in the city. We couldn't 30 years ago either. Ha ha ha, not funny. Um, and so, like most people that move out of the city, I still had to travel to the city for work. And I would take the commuter train and would collect. I was a legal secretary, and I collected my coworkers' lunchroom scraps, banana peels, coffee grounds to put in my composter. Because if you compost, the more you put in, the more you get out, the better your garden grows naturally.
Right.
And 1993, a teacher friend asked me to look after her worm bin for the summer. Ooh, Chelsea, I didn't want worms in my house. That's true. But I do think that we should try things ourselves. Like people say, oh, you won't like that. Oh, good. Give me a list. Right? So try things, folks. You never know. Like now it's my life. And it was horrible. I mean, that summer was not very nice because I would open the lid, throw the food in. I was a fruit fly farmer.
Okay.
Again, part of the lesson. Management is required, but I was like, at the end of the summer, I did keep the worms alive. The fruit flies don't cause any problem for humans or pets,
Hmm.
but they bug us,
Right. Yeah.
right? And so management is required for your worm bin. They're just decomposers. But you don't want to have fruit flies and you don't need to. So I was like, I'm not never going to do this again. And then fast forward to 2000, I got a job at a farm working with challenged adults. And they didn't compost. And I was like, you know, I'm an entrepreneur, but I didn't know I was an entrepreneur, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
I happened upon it because I had a solution for something that everybody needs. And when they didn't, I was like, why don't you compost? And I spoke to management about a composting program. Like you're creating all of this food waste and you have a vocational program and a farm. Like to me, it was a no-brainer. So you have some of the folks doing the composting program. You're saving money, not hauling it away, doing something for the planet. Like there was so many things. Yeah. And the greenhouse manager mentioned worm composting. And I was like, oh, not again. There are the worms again. Have you ever done something, Chelsea, and you're like all revved up? You're like, oh my God, this is going to be great. And then it isn't great. And you're like, I know you're like, yeah, how much time do we have?
Yeah. I could go on, but no, it's this is this is about you.
Right, but then someone later on says, "Hey, Chelsea, why don't we, whatever that thing was?" And you're like, ah, that feeling in the pit of your stomach.
Mhm.
That's what happened. That's what happened when the greenhouse manager mentioned worms again. I was like, ah, no. But I came home. I'm like, it's an institution. They're not getting worms anytime soon. And I started to do research. And I discovered the magic of the red wigglers. They eat half their weight per day. They turn garbage into gold. They're the original alchemists. So here we are
Mm.
trucking our garbage out of the city when we could manage it on site. Like imagine how much money it costs to ship garbage around. Our tax dollars hard at work.
Yeah. There's like a beautiful metaphor in there too, the alchemy of waste. Our garbage goes out, it leaves us out of sight, out of mind, right? And I'm curious to know like what this process has taught you.
Nature doesn't rush, but everything gets done. Right? So you have spring, you have summer, you have fall, and that's like our life. I think the four seasons that we experience in Canada are a metaphor for life, where we go, we have an idea as an entrepreneur, say for business. You have an idea, that's the spring, where it's just a little bud, it's a seed, it's just starting to grow. You're like, oh, that's a great idea. And then the summer is a time where you're growing it and you're watering it and doing the things that you need to, your marketing, you're doing the things for your business. Then fall, you get to reap your harvest. Hopefully you've done some good sowing and you've done some good follow up and nourishment of your clients. In the fall, you can harvest a bit, and in the winter, you slow down. And like that's not everybody's. My slow time is summer. Hallelujah! Can you imagine how fun? Right, but just like the cycles, and then the slow time where we go into hibernation maybe, and we're thinking about new ideas. What are we going to birth in the spring? And so that's what this has taught me, really patience, and that people don't know what you do unless you're really clear. I've learned so much. Oh my gosh, I went from fear where I was like, ah, gross, no, not again. I'll just buy worm poo if I want it for my garden, like from all the worm farms around. Anyone listening, it's like, where are the worm farms? Yeah, that's it. They're not. We need more worm growers. Just so many connections. You've heard of the microbiome in our body, in our belly. It's the same in the soil. There's a wonderful ecosystem. We need diversity. We need all the players. We need the bacteria, the springtails, the mites. And when people think about these words, when they hear bacteria, they go, ah, get out the spray and let's get rid of that. It's like we live in such a sterile environment now. If we think about the worms and where they live, first of all, they don't really need tending to. These are indoor worms, so these are kept worms. um, but
Domestic worms.
right, they're domestic worms. But when we look at the soil is full of life, hopefully. Hopefully, we haven't, in North America, we've really destroyed the soil. And so, what have I learned? I went into this business thinking everybody needs worms. Every family needs worms. Every classroom needs worms. Every business, every community, worms everywhere. Wherever there's a blue bin, a recycling bin, there's a worm bin. That was my idea 23 years ago. And then the worms are the hard part,
Hmm.
right? If people I have a psych degree, so I'm fascinated by people. And I think people might have been challenged or traumatized in school after a rainy day. Somebody chased them around, or a sibling with a worm, or a fishing incident, the green goo that comes out when you're fishing. If you were traumatized as a child by worms, you're not looking to that as an adult. So we're afraid, and we're afraid because fear is just the unknown. Fear is just, I do a lot of school workshops and I say fear is, if you're afraid, and I'll use the example of the darkness. I say to the children, if you're afraid of the dark, it's when the lights go, you don't know what's going to happen. That's why you're afraid. Same with the worms that we're like, ah, what are they going to do? Are they going to get out of the bin? Because they're not free range. They stay in a container.
Free range worms. I love it. Okay.
right, they're in a
Yeah.
container. They're really a wonderful pet. They're quiet. They just eat your scraps. They have 5 hearts. So I've
Wow.
learned so many lessons.
5 hearts. Wow. I'm just learning so much. So I really loved what you said about the soil being like the microbiome of the earth. Again, there's such a wonderful metaphor there about the
Mm,
what worms represent to the planet, where they're transmuting all of that dark the waste
mm,
energy into something beautiful and light and usable. And 5 hearts, it's so interesting because that to me, the heart being a portal to higher consciousness and source,
mm.
they must be very evolved little creatures that we just don't
Right?
even think about.
We don't even think about them. And back to the soil analogy, I was just thinking as you were speaking, when we have healthy soil, anything will grow, right? Things just grow. We can still grow stuff in crappier soil. It just maybe is not as big a fruit, or the plant isn't as healthy, but it can still grow because nature's amazing.
Right.
Same with our health. If our microbiome is healthy and we're feeding the right bugs and all is well, we have a strong immune system, and it doesn't matter. Somebody might sneeze beside us and we don't get it, or we
Mm,
get it less and we get over it quicker. Same if our microbiome is kind of broken, or we're not feeding the right bugs. We can still function because our body is it's a miracle. Like, it's so amazing that we do so much abuse. Like, we're drinking pop and we're eating junk food, and nothing against those things
hmm
in, in moderation.
for sure.
But it's a lot of people's diet
Mm.
where they're taking fast food because we're marketed to. Anyway, there's so many challenges. So as you were talking, I was like, wow, even in crappy soil, something will grow.
Mm.
Even in a broken microbiome, or a weak immune system, we can still function.
Yeah, that it is a miracle that we're still able to not in many cases not just function, but in some cases thrive even
Mm,
amidst the unhealthy. I would think that a lot of people would agree that we are so inundated with processed food. And I'm curious, like with the processed food and all that kind of thing, do you find like do the worms care? Do they care at all what you throw in
mm,
there? Oh, okay,
mm.
so what about the quality of the waste products that go into the worm bins?
That's one of the challenges. That's one of the challenges. So there's water that we need to put in. Municipalities have fluoride, they have chlorine, and chlorine evaporates. So I do recommend, if people are, before setting up your bedding, which is shredded paper, by the way, and leave straw cardboard, before making it moist, I suggest, if you're using tap water, to let it sit overnight at least, so the chlorine can evaporate and it comes to room temperature. Just
Mm,
like in a pool, they need to keep on adding the chlorine because it evaporates.
right.
One of the challenges, Chelsea, is that some municipalities are adding another chemical. And I'm not a chemist, so I don't know exactly how it works, but it's called chloramine.
Hmm,
So there's another element added into the chlorine, and it doesn't evaporate.
hmm.
And it is harmful.
And we're
It is
drinking
harmful.
this?
And we're drinking it, yes. And I
Interesting.
don't know where. People will need to do their own due diligence to which municipalities.
Okay.
And you talked about the quality of food. It's a challenge. If the worms could talk, they'd be like, "Can you just give us organic stuff that hasn't been sprayed, please?" Because we breathe
Mm.
through our skin. They're like frogs, so they're very sentient creatures. And I do believe they're the canary of the coal mine.
Oh, interesting.
There's way less worms now after a rainy day. I'm in my 60s now. I remember as a kid, my goodness, after a rainy day, it would be like, ah, ah, ah. They were everywhere because they come out from the ground and they're all over the place. That's a healthy soil. And
Hmm.
then they go back when it stops raining. Now that we've put so many chemicals, I believe we've really harmed the worms, the worm population.
So that just kind of opens up a door, doesn't it? To like, so what does that signify when we talk about soil being the microbiome of Gaia, of our beautiful planet? What does the worms? dying or dissipating signify to you?
That our soil is just becoming unhealthy.
Mm,
I'm not saying anything, you know, that we don't know already.
yeah,
Although we do know more about the ocean and the stars than we know about the soil.
it's true, isn't it? Like we hear a lot about these things, but I can't personally recall hearing about this particular. That's why it's so fascinating for me. It's something we just don't think about because we don't want to think about worms.
You talked about, we put the garbage you didn't say at the end of the road, but we put it at the curb, whatever the truck comes along and takes it somewhere, it takes it away. And we
Yeah.
go, oh, it's away, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
That's it. But where is away? Where does it
Mm.
go? And we don't learn these things. I think that trips to the landfill would be, it should be mandatory viewing, like for school trips to the landfill, so people could go, wow. And then they bring it up the ladder, like, oh, mom and dad, we got to stop buying plastic. We got to stop doing these things because when it goes away, it just goes to landfill and then it blows around and or we truck it to other countries, even worse.
Yeah. When I learned that, I was really blown away.
And garbage is something we think it's garbage, so it needs
Yeah.
to go away because it's garbage.
Yeah.
So it's what we call these things. I think food scraps and organic matter is a resource.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's really just rethinking what we call
Yeah,
things.
yeah, that's right too. Yeah, it's a reframing of how we talk about this to perhaps change minds and perspectives. Yeah,
Hmm.
for sure. I recall having deployed overseas, seeing the great trash, the floating trash island in the ocean, and it was, I mean, I didn't see you see it coming before you actually, do you know what I'm saying? And it's very
Yeah.
very eye-opening. Like everything bobbing in the ocean at that point is just a piece of trash, and you're like, wow,
Ugh,
everything I've ever touched that I've put in a garbage bin is still on this planet with me.
yeah.
When you think about it like that, you're like, how much garbage does one person produce in their lifetime?
Right?
And how much do the worms help break down?
They only eat organic stuff, so they're not looking after the plastic or the recycling
Of
stuff, right?
course.
So we're talking about our food scraps from the kitchen, vegetable and fruit peels, coffee, tea, that kind of stuff in the household. If people have rabbits or guinea pigs or rats as pets, all of their shavings can go in the worm bin or composting. Um, if we scale that up to the farm, if people are on a farm and they have animals, the vegetarian animals, horses, cows, sheep, and goats. You
Mm.
can take their manure and it makes it safer. So you're in Ontario as well. In just before starting my business, I think it was 2001 or 2000 maybe, there was a tragedy in Walkerton. Do you remember?
Well,
Several people died.
I'm I am a transplant here recently.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so
yeah.
several people died because, the cities are encroaching on the farms,
Mm.
not the other way around. People are like, "Oh, the farm, it smells." It's like, "Well, the farm was there."
Yeah.
We've just built our houses closer now to the farms. And it was a particularly rainy season, and somehow, so there was a few things that happened. The manure got washed into the water treatment plant, and I believe it was human error, I'm not blaming the cattle. I think it was at the treatment plant
Mhm.
somehow. Anyway, people lost their lives. And from that, when I was researching my business, I heard that the worms can reduce manure piles by up to 80%
Wow.
and reduce or eliminate gram-negative bacteria, E. coli, Salmonella, Shigella, the bacteria that causes harm for pets and animals.
So how long does it take for a worm to for the worm bins to like break down? So I don't know if you've heard of the Lomi. It's like the countertop composter thing.
It's
I'm
not
just
a composter, but yes, I know
Oh,
what you
it's
mean.
not. Okay, so what does it do then? Like how do they compare if someone's like, "Okay, well, I want to this sounds amazing." I'm just curious as to the timeline for our little worm friends.
Yeah, so it's a process. It's like nature.
Okay.
So it takes time for the worms to get established. First of all, it's the microbes that do the heavy lifting. They're doing the chewing, and then the worms eat the stuff they've broken down.
Okay.
So it's about if you were using, say, a made container or some kind of tote, it's about 3 to 5 months from setup to harvest. And
Okay.
you're adding, if you had a pound of worms,
Mm-hmm.
they eat about half their weight per day in food scraps. So you're looking at 3 to 4 pounds per week of food scraps. And there's lots of factors. So this is just a broad guideline. Temperature, moisture, there's all kinds of factors that affect how fast and the type of food you're putting in, right? Cabbage takes longer than lettuce,
Okay. Oh, interesting.
right? Yeah.
Okay.
So 3 to 5 months, and then you've got your black gold. You take that, and once you're going, it's like sourdough. Once you've got your worms established, then they're going to increase in number. They breed like more than rabbits. It's a beautiful thing. I really would encourage people to either compost. If you have a house and you have a space outside, that's perfectly fine too, or inside. And I will talk about loamy just for a sec. What the loamy is a dehydrator. You can't make compost overnight. They're
Okay.
taking out the
And
moisture, and that's fine. They're breaking it down. There's probably like a little choppy thing in there, so it's breaking it down. And then you take that, you can put it in your composter. You can put it right in the garden, but it's not compost yet. It's
that.
sterilized material that it's taking the juice out. So it is doing something for sure. It's a beautiful thing.
Okay.
But we're using electricity. I think
Right.
it costs like a few $100s to buy the machine.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to be aware when we buy something, we need to go, okay, it sounds good, it's marketed, right? It's got a nice glossy brochure. So we just got to look at a few things. What are we looking for?
Yeah. So essentially, the worms just need a much better publicist at this point.
It's a different system, right? The Lomi, you flick a switch, and in the
Yeah.
morning you've got crumbly stuff that is not compost because it doesn't have any life. There's no microbes in there.
Ah, okay. So that's the distinction that's made. Okay, right. So the compost has all the good bugs in it that help to break it down.
And
No.
that's essential. That's the critical piece for healthy, vibrant soil that has a beautiful immunity.
Interesting. And so okay, so you transitioned from the worms to laughter yoga. So I want to really dive into your journey with that.
There's a big overlap. It was 2012, 10 years into my worm mission, and one more person said, "Ew, worms in the house."
Yeah.
And I'd heard it hundreds of times. I just wasn't paying attention. I was like, no, 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 you need this. But people don't buy what they need, they buy what they want.
Hmm.
They didn't want what I was flogging. And I was doing school workshops. So that the worm business was working out just fine because I was educating. It was really wonderful. And then 2020, before 2020, I was doing between 100 and 200 events a year.
Wow.
I know, wow. When I say that, I'm like, oh my God, I was a hamster.
That's incredible, though. That's incredible.
Right, but I loved it. I really, I'm not nothing against it because I really loved educating. I was doing school workshops. I was talking at Horts, whoever would let me talk, I would go and talk at their group or corporations, helping them set up to save money on, managing their scraps. Yeah, so many opportunities. It was so beautiful. So 2020, of course, we got shut down in our homes. And yeah, it was like, okay, now what? So back to 2012. So 2012, when one more person said, "Ew, worms in the house." I heard it that one, and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to, like 10 years I've been doing this. How people are still saying, "Ew, worms in the house." What? And the very next day I was introduced to laughter yoga.
Hmm.
And I don't even do yoga. I know yoga's a great thing. It's just not for me. And I just jumped right to the fun yoga. So laughter yoga is not doing yoga and laughing. It's laughing as a cardiovascular workout.
Ah.
Laughing for the health of it. Not jokes or comedy, because jokes are cultural, right? If it's about two people, those it's not funny for them.
Hmm.
And this it was started in 1995 by a medical doctor in India, and his goal is world peace. And there are clubs in over 120 countries and counting.
No way. So what's his, so is it just like a bunch of people in a room just laughing their asses off, or how does it work?
Yeah,
I
yes,
mean, I
sort
would
of.
love to see that.
As the laughter teacher, there's little games to inspire the laughter. There's clapping, so you're clapping palm to palm, which activates meridians and
Okay.
gives people that are in their head something to do with their hands.
Mm.
Right? For people that are in laughter yoga, or when you come to a club and you come back again, you realize you don't really need the games. You just need to get together as a group because laughing's contagious. So once you start, the body doesn't know the difference between real and simulated laughter,
Oh, interesting. Okay.
right? So your brain's like, what are you doing? Why are you laughing? There's no jokes. That's the voice going, hey, stop it. You look ridiculous. And your body's going, pew, pew, pew. Wow, I feel great. And we feel great because we're secreting the love drugs, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, right? Have you had your daily dose? Versus the stress chemicals when we're stressed, right? Cortisol, adrenaline, epinephrine. And we're living in this perpetual state of stress now, Chelsea. We're just
Oh,
like,
yes.
that's where we're living. We're like, okay, this is what I know. I know what this is like. But we're not breathing properly, our heart's palpitating, and we're secreting all those stress chemicals, which means that we're vibrating at a very low level, right? When we're afraid, we're stressed, we're frustrated, anxious, angry, all of these emotions are low vibrating. When
Mm.
we laugh, it's just like, ha 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 ha. It brings us to the present. We're not thinking about that thing we said or did yesterday or that meeting we have coming up tomorrow. We're not even thinking. We're right here, right now. So back to your question about are people just laughing? Sort of, yes, that's the idea. But they're guided. So there's little games to inspire the laughter. And there's deep diaphragmatic breathing, and it's really wonderful.
I I love that so much. I a breathwork guide myself,
Hmm.
and so I love nervous system regulation tools, modalities. So I've never heard of this one, but I've heard of
Mm.
yoga, right? The breath work is, one of the what is part of yoga, obviously pranayama. Um, and so I'm just so curious. So when you talk about, the loop, right? So that we're in the stress response feedback loop, right? Cortisol is raised, it's elevated, it's shutting off the prefrontal cortex. We're not thinking, we're just reacting, right? And all that stuff.
Mm.
Can just can laughter also just sort of break that loop,
Yes.
like
Yes.
spontaneously? Okay.
It totally can. You've heard of polyvagal theory or the
Yes. Yes.
yes. So there's the ventral vagal, sympathetic, and then dorsal vagal, which I'm just in a thing with Alex Howard. He's the founder of Conscious Life.
Oh, yeah. Yes, they just had a big online symposium, didn't they?
They did,
Yeah.
yes. And it was so interesting. I hadn't like I'm always talking about we can just laugh and feel better. And I'm a lifelong learner, so I always learning, taking these summits, and I've heard of parasympathetic, sympathetic, but what does it mean? All the like in high school, yeah, I heard those words, but I didn't really know what it meant. And the
Mm.
more I get into this laughter and learn and study, it's like, oh my gosh, it's literally. Oh, I say we can only laugh when we're safe. That's what the ventral vagal is, safety and connection. That's exactly what laughter yoga is. When we're laughing, we're connecting. So it works perfect on online as well. So it's beautiful. Not beautiful. I mean, the cuckoo time was cuckoo, but at least we had at least we had technology that allowed us to connect. And so in a laughter club online, you can see each other, you do, it's wonderful when people have their camera. If they're not able because they're having a crappy day or they just don't want to have their camera, that's totally fine because we still get the energy. We
Yeah.
still get to answer your question, yes, you can absolutely shift your state in a second by laughing. Even if you're like, I'm so sad and depressed, I don't feel like laughing. We say, bring your able body and we'll make you laugh. And not in a aggressive, hey, come on, laugh. It's just like, just laugh.
Can you imagine? Laugh,
Right?
damn
Come
it.
on, right? But when we laugh, ha ha ha, we make those ho ho and ha 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 sounds. Those are attached to our diaphragm. Our
Mhm.
diaphragm is attached to all our organs. So laughing is like internal jogging. We're laughing, ha ha ha. We can't just exhale. We have to
Inhale.
take that beautiful
Yes.
deep breath.
Yes.
And breath work is wonderful. Nothing against breath work. We just don't have to think about breathing when we're laughing.
That's
It's
right.
automatic.
Yeah. And it's a lot of fun too. That's the other part when you're laughing.
Mhm.
That is so fascinating. Would you be willing to do like a laughter yoga session
Yes,
right
let's do
now?
it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'll
Yes.
do it with you, obviously, and then when we've got people, if for anybody listening right now and driving, is this something they can do while driving?
I'll guide them through it. So,
Okay.
I mean, not if you're driving both hands
Or
on the
if
wheel,
you're
don't.
watching, you're good, obviously.
Yeah, if you're watching, play along, like do it because you'll notice the difference. And I say before we begin, just notice what kind of day you're having. And on a stress scale of between 1 and 10, 10 is like, holy crap, I'm so stressed. Thank God I'm here going to do this laughter thing. Or one is I'm so chill, like thank God I'm here because this will be super fun and make me chiller. So that's just for you, like to
Okay.
notice whoever's listening or watching. Just
Sure.
take a moment to like tap in. Okay, where am I? And then at the end, just notice. I'll probably forget to ask you to tap in again, but if you remember, just tap in. So we're just gonna rub our hands together like we're starting a fire. It just gets our energy going, and our hands are like they're the conductors really. All
Mm,
right, and I incorporate as a laughter yoga teacher, I incorporate tapping, brain gym, qigong, and
mm.
other energy modalities. Laughter is complementary magic medicine and goes with everything. So we're just going to do, and because we're seated, we're just going to, I'll do some cross crawls, seated version. So just put
Okay.
one hand on the opposite shoulder and just give yourself a little massage. Some people carry their stress here. Oh, it feels
Mhm.
tight right now. No, maybe I'm nervous. Chelsea, maybe I'm nervous. Okay, then just push
You need
down
laughter yoga.
and drag across to the opposite
Oh, okay.
hip. Other side, just a little massage. Push down and drag across. And we're just going to do that a few times. We're doing an X on our chest. And if you have somebody with you, they can be doing X's on your back. So whenever we're going across our center lobe, we're connecting, or our center meridian, we're connecting our lobes. So anything we do after this will be better incorporated into our beautiful body. So
Mm,
now we're going to tap on 4 spots. And if you're familiar with EFT or emotional freedom technique, it's that but without a mantra. And
okay.
I'll talk about where we're tapping. So a
Okay.
couple of fingers, we're just going to tap on our cheekbones right under our pupils. This is stomach meridian. And we're going to tap and take a nice deep breath in through our nose. So tapping and breathing. Hold it, smiling, tapping, so many instructions. Just stay present. And then exhale with a sigh.
Mm,
Ha. This is stomach meridian. So keep tapping while I'm talking and take a nice deep breath in while I keep on talking. If somebody has an upset stomach, tapping on stomach meridian may help alleviate the upset. If somebody's feeling wired, tapping on this meridian helps to ground you. So this is a beautiful one to do. And I do recommend people tapping on these 4 spots every day, stomach. And you don't need to know for them to work. Next one is on your collarbone. There's a little divot. So
mhm.
this is the end of the kidney meridian. This is K27. This is where the kidney meridian dumps into the cardiovascular system. And notice how you feel as you're tapping on these spots. And take a nice deep breath in while you're tapping here. And exhale with a sigh.
Mm.
Ha. Beautiful. Again, breathe in and exhale. Ha.
Mm.
Beautiful. And I'll talk about the sigh in a moment. Next one is on your thymus. And I'm going fast. You can take longer as you do this on your own. The thymus is where
I
the
have to
T cell.
yawn.
Oh, yawning is good. Yawning is moving energy. I love it. Yay. I always call people out when they yawn in my club. I'm like, yay, yawning. Good. Yawn, right? When you yawn, you've gone into parasympathetic.
Yes.
It's beautiful. Yawning is great for the vagus nerve. Beautiful. So the thymus is where the T cells go to mature, and the T cells are the cancer fighting cells.
Mm.
If anybody has any tenderness at any of these spots, and this one feels tender, it's interesting.
Mm.
So breathe, remember to breathe. And I would say what we're going to do here is make some noise like Tarzan as we exhale to get your stress out. So as you're tapping, breathe in and just make some noise like ah, ah,
Ah!
and end with ha ha ha, because it's kind of funny. Okay, again, breathe in. And get the rest out. Get it out. Ah, ah. It's so good. Ah. And if you're listening, we're tapping on our thymus. Okay, next spot is you put your arms, I don't know how to explain it, but we're just going to tap on our ribs.
Okay.
So, or if you're wearing a bra, it's just at the bottom of your bra. This is spleen meridian. So as we're
Mm.
tapping, breathe in here. When we're under stress and exhale, ha. When we're under stress, our spleen doesn't get any energy. So it's
Oh,
always great because we're living in this perpetual state of stress to
right.
give some little extra energy to your spleen. So those four spots: stomach,
Still yawning?
stomach, kidney, thymus, spleen. Um, okay, so those four spots. So just a couple of tap or four tapping spots. So there's a laughter yoga song and dance. We're clapping palm to palm, and the rhythm is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and the words are ho ho ha ha ha. And that's how you would, if you were in person, you might start your laughter club that way. Have everybody going ho ho ha 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 ho ho ha 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 ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. And that's what we would do between activities because we're doing an activity, everybody's laughing. Online, it's easier to regulate because you can actually see. You don't want people to get into their head.
Mm.
You
Like,
want
who's
the,
looking at me?
right? So
Yeah.
people are just playing, but you don't want the activity to go on too long where, there's a couple over there, they're bored with this activity. Now they're starting to chat. We don't want anyone talking. We want them laughing, breathing, and playing. So as a laughter leader, you're kind of surveying what's happening. Oh, okay, this one's gone on long enough that people seem to be getting bored. So then you would go ho ho ha ha ha, and everybody joins in. So all of a sudden everyone's going ho ho ha ha ha, and that's funny too. Or very good, yay! And you throw your arms over your head. Whenever you have your hands over your head, you can't be sad. Like, oh, I'm so sad. No, what are your hands doing?
I'm gonna try that. I'm so angry right now.
I'm so mad.
This
What?
looks so ridiculous. Yeah, how can you? You're
Right, go
right.
to
That's fascinating.
right, go to
Okay.
your partner or your parents or whatever. I'm so mad. I'm so sad. No, like what are your hands doing over your head?
Oh my gosh.
And so on. So there's just
Yeah.
some games and we're just laughing. Like one is laughter cream. It's kind of one of my favorite ones. I almost always mention it because my goal is to help people get out of stress into joy and to laugh on their own, but it's not easy.
Mm.
Even though we know laughter's the best medicine and all the things, like laughing by yourself, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, it's kind of not fun. So laughter cream, and I should have brought it. I actually have my cream. It's a big giant laughter like cream thing, and it comes in a pump, and I've labeled it laughter cream. So it says right on the side laughter cream. So when I take it out, I'm like, oh yeah, laughter cream.
I want to have something at work.
Right? So wherever you put it, you start laughing.
Okay. It's just such a, yeah, oh my God, I love this concept so much.
Right? And it just changes everything you know about regulating your nervous system.
Yeah.
It's the fastest happiness hack. It's what we can do in an instant when we remember to do so.
Right.
Right? As another tip for people that are of anyone that's driving, if somebody cuts you off, it's never personal. It's not like, oh, there's Chelsea, let's get her. No. They got
Yeah.
distracted, they ran out of their lane, whatever happened, they cut you off. When people cut somebody off, they know. They're like, oops, ooh, sorry. Or they don't care maybe. But they're looking in their mirror. So they're looking in the mirror. When somebody cuts me off, it's time to do laughter yoga. I'm like, okay, let's go. And so I start laughing. For those listening and not watching, I'm flailing my arm around and my tongue's out. I'm laughing. It looks like if you're looking in your rearview mirror, you think, oh my God, that chick's cuckoo.
Yeah. I need to get out of here.
That's it. And I get more space. They literally move away from me.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I've done my laughter yoga. All the love drugs are secreting. I'm fully oxygenated, right? You know, from breath
Yeah,
work,
absolutely. Oh,
right?
it's making so
That's one
much
of the
sense.
problems. Yeah. It's so beautiful. And it's a beautiful thing it's a really wonderful complement with breath work
Yes. Yeah,
because
absolutely.
you're doing that work. I mean, it's breath work, so it is work, and you're doing the work, and people are, experiencing their emotions, as you know, and some people cry at the end, as you know,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
right? So ending with laughter, ending your breath work, once people have come back to life and they've,
Hmm.
they're awake again, ending with a laughter session is such a beautiful way to send them on their way. Then they're not stuck in the and I know that you don't leave them stuck in their emotion when they're at the end, but it's really just another kind of way to cap the experience. And then they go away and they're like, oh, and they feel great because they ended with laughter.
That is so amazing that you just said that because I've never even thought about including laughter and integration, right? At the
Mm,
end of breath work, because you're right. Like I mean, I'm a person that processes really deeply. I
mm,
laugh hard and I cry really hard. And you're right, the body is such a portal for our it holds our subconscious,
yeah.
right? It holds our subconscious. It makes so much sense to me that laughter would tap into the same place. Obviously, because again, it's the meridians, the energy channels. It's also the breath and circulation that's tapping into all of these systems, and you're encouraging a bodily response that we don't really understand either.
Mm,
It's such an interesting thing. It's just such a beautiful thing that human beings have where we have these bodies, these vessels, these portals. And by using the breath, by using laughter, these gifts, I guess, that we've been given to regulate.
mm,
And you see that in these sessions. I'm sure you see so many emotions come to the surface through the laughter.
mm.
I'm sure that pulls it out of people in ways that are unexpected.
It does. Why do people laugh at inappropriate times?
Yeah.
It's the body's response, like, ah, you're too stressed, you're going to blow up like the pressure cooker.
Yeah.
So we laugh at the funeral, or if somebody trips and falls on a banana peel or something, it's funny. But then it's like, oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was funny because we're scared that they hurt themselves.
Right. Right. Yeah. I've never even thought about it like that.
Yeah.
Hmm. Gosh.
Yeah, it's what you've just said, and from that, what did I learn today? What word was it? Neuro neuroception. I was like, what is that? I had to write it down and then look it up, and it's our body's natural response when the climate changes, like it's getting louder or it's getting smoky now, and it just is like creeps in and we're not aware, and so our body naturally responds, but we might not be aware of it.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's neuroception.
Oh,
When we feel unsafe with people that we're feel unsafe with, that we feel threatened by, um, it triggers the response. So it's that automatic stress response that we're not in control of
wow.
until we become aware of these things, of how we respond. Yeah, it's complex. It's really interwoven, and it's like, oh my God. But laughter is the answer, and breath work and singing, dancing, all of these, whatever the modality that works for people, that's what they need to do. That's our goal today, is to manage our nervous system.
Yeah, 100%. Because the same thing might not be someone's cup of tea, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Like it's very much about finding what works for you. And so laughter, I just want to go back for a moment to, so someone had said for the millionth time, I guess, I'm not interested in having worms in the house. So how did that trigger the laughter yoga? Is it because you cracked? You were like, I've got to find, I don't know what to do with anymore.
That's it. I was like,
Yeah,
universe, I don't know what to do. 10 years I've been at this,
yeah,
doing workshops and
yeah,
rah, 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 you need worms. And so I just questioned everything. Like, how am I going to do this? I don't know what to do.
yeah.
And then the very next day I was introduced to laughter yoga. The woman did, it was a speaker. She did a 5-minute introduction. I was like, wow, what is that?
Your soul recognized it.
Yeah. And I think, it really changed my life. Um, I think on a certain level before laughter yoga, when people said, "Ooh, worms in the house," I took it personal. Like
Oh,
there was something wrong with me. Like this was my baby.
yeah.
Like the worms are my baby. Um, so when they said, "Ooh," I don't know. It doesn't seem logical, but on a certain level, I think that's what was happening.
Yeah.
So then after the laughter, I realized, they're just not ready yet.
Mm,
That's not my stuff. That's on them. That's not me.
yeah.
And then I could laugh it off. And it just, the laughter really has made me more resilient, more joyful, healthier, more oxygenated, right? Secreting the love drugs. When I find myself, I'm just more in tune with my body. When I feel myself getting tight and stressed, because things happen, I'm human.
Hmm.
I notice. I'm like, I'm all, wait a minute, what's happening? And I'm getting stressed. I gotta go, and I'll go outside. I'll do some earthing. I'll do some breathing. I'll
Hmm.
go laugh for a couple of minutes by myself. I have a rebounder. I'll bounce for a bit just to change my state,
Hmm.
just to get out of there. It doesn't make your problems go away, folks, as if. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Magic bullet. But what it does is helps us come up with more solutions, because when we're stressed, everything leaves our frontal lobe, blood, lymph, oxygen, right? We go into reaction. You mentioned that.
Hmm.
So, if we've ever lost our keys, phone, glasses, and we're flapping around, we're just getting more stressed, like, I gotta leave. Where are my keys? Come on, I gotta go. And you're yelling at everyone, getting more stressed because we're not right. It's that loop. So we need to stop, take a deep breath in, apologize to everyone, because our brain is literally deprived of oxygen when we're in that stress mode.
Mm.
So we breathe, and then we can come up with solutions. It's like, oh, there's are my keys right there. Same with, oh my gosh, there's another solution. Like maybe you get an idea. Oh, I got to call that friend. Maybe they have a connection for me. Or we're just more open
Hmm.
when we're laughing and when we're doing our breath work.
Yeah. Have you ever found the laughter part a struggle for anybody who's I guess struggling with their ego? Not from like an egotistical point of view, but the ego itself that can sometimes not let them kind of disconnect from that place. Because
Yes,
yeah, because there's vulnerability in laughter. I would,
absolutely. Oh, it's complete control release. Like you have
Mhm.
no control. You don't know if you're gonna pee a bit.
Yeah, especially women of a certain age or those who have had children. Yes.
Right? I mean, you don't know what's gonna happen. We look ridiculous when we're laughing full on. So absolutely. I mean, not my favorite example because it's painful watching somebody struggle so much.
Mm, okay.
Because they're completely in their head. And I just want people, and we say at the beginning, give yourself permission to laugh. Because your ego will be saying, hey, what are you doing? Because our brain's role is to keep us safe
Mhm.
and conserve energy. It knows what to do. That's why, at the family dinner, maybe you get into that same dispute with your sibling. Like they said that thing, now you're triggered and you're back in the same old pattern. We can break that. So I was at a like it's kind of funny when saying it out loud. It was a group of women. There may have been 20 or 30 women in the group, and I was hired to come and do a laughter session. They all knew each other. They were all friends. And the very last woman sitting beside me. So 20 or 30 people had gone, and we do an exercise at the beginning called the name game. And you say your name and you laugh. That's it. And then everybody joins in, and it's set up that way because it's set up so that people it doesn't feel like people are laughing at you. I say you say your name and then you start laughing and everybody joins in. So that we start laughing like my name's Kathy. And then everybody laughs too. So and then Susan goes and Joanne goes and everybody goes. So the last woman sitting beside me. So I can only imagine the whole time she's thinking, "Oh my God, what am I going to say? What do I do? I got it. What?" I'm so when we got to her, she was like sitting with her arms crossed, like totally closed, and she said with a total poker face, "You want me to say my name and laugh?"
Oh
20
dear.
people her friends had just gone. Everybody laughed. Everybody did it. Like some people didn't laugh full on, like, ah, ha, ha. They like it was weird, like, ha, ha, ha. But they did it, right? And then we all laughed. And I said, yes, that's exact. Those are the instructions. Yes. And so she did it. She was like, my name's Sue. Ha ha ha. And it was so fake. But then everyone laughed because it just was hilarious. It didn't make it any easier for her. It
Of
was
course.
painful for me
Yeah.
as the laughter teacher. I just want everyone to play like children, right? Like it's just like having fun and we're connecting and then we're secreting all those love drugs. We're fully oxygenated. We're connecting on a deep level. It's sublime. It's so beautiful when we allow ourselves permission, like when we allow ourselves get out of your head and feel it instead of thinking about it.
Right.
So yes, I've many times, and it happens in corporations when the boss is like, "Okay, everybody, we're doing this thing," and they don't know what it is. Maybe they haven't said we're going to have a laughter thing. So then they're all like, "Oh, I'm busy. I got so many things to do. What is happening now?" And they come, and they're not in a good state when they come, and the boss forced them to come. So yeah, that can be a challenge. But then if the boss is there, then they have to laugh. So they do. It's fascinating. It really, like, we resist so much. And when we resist, then it takes a lot of energy for people not to be wrapped up in the energy of the laughter.
Yeah. And so for that reason, do you find like who do you prefer to do these workshops with?
When you can break through to those people, they're your biggest fans.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then, and for me, it's the challenge of not the challenge of making them laugh, but having them understand the value
Hmm.
of the laughter and the benefit. We all remember as children laughing our heads off,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
hope we have memories of that. It's less and less as we get older because we have so many things going on.
Hmm.
People will say, Kathy, how can I possibly laugh? There's so many things going on. And my response is always, we must laugh because
Hmm.
there's so many things going on.
Yeah.
We're not laughing at, we're laughing because of.
Yeah. That is so, so true. So, so true. And can be said of so many different things when people say, I don't have time to meditate. I'm like, that's why you need to meditate.
Right? That's
Yeah.
it. We got to slow down.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, when you were a kid, like were there signs that you'd grow up to be the worm and laughter yoga lady?
Not at all. Not at all. So I was one of those children that woke up singing and talking. I mean, I'm aptly named Kathy, right? Chatty Kathy. I had a chatty Kathy doll. I don't know if you're too young to remember Chatty Kathy. Do
I've
you
heard
remember?
of them. I certainly,
Okay. So Chatty Cathy was a doll that you pulled the cord and then she would talk. And I had a Chatty Cathy doll, and my brother cut the string. He's like, "You don't need a mentor." And I was shut up as a child. I was told like children are meant to be seen and not heard. And I don't know if my family weren't morning people, but they weren't fans of my chatter in the morning. So I became a very quiet child and probably went into a depression because I didn't want to upset my family, but I also had a lot to say. And now I'm grateful. Like, don't cry any tears for me. I'm a talker now and a speaker. And I think, oh, thank God they shut me up as a kid. Otherwise, what would I say now? I would have used all my words. And as far as the worms, not at all, because my mom was, or she's still here, her house was hospital clean. Our house was hospital clean, like spick and span for sure. And now I live on my own. That's not how it is. Because I think we have a mold, and we can become anything that we're taught to do. We can learn things.
Mhm.
And then I think we go back to how, like, our actual personality when we live on our own. If we're able to break out of it. And thank goodness I was able. Yeah, so definitely not. No, yeah, there was no indication that this would be my lot in life. But thank goodness.
Well, no kidding. What a interesting, beautiful existence you have right now. And always,
Right?
like, that
Yeah.
is really, really cool. So how can people get in touch with you then who really want to learn more about your laughter club or work with you as, like, I think you do corporate clients as well, and
Yeah, I do corporate. I'll go in. It's great for team building, just to get along, for creativity, all of those things. That's beautiful. I have a free online laughter club, and I would love to invite everyone. Come and experience the magic. Everybody's welcome. It's 2:30, 9:30 a.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. 30 minutes of super fun self-care. I incorporate tapping, brain gym, qigong. And I'm also a laughter teacher. So I do teach, it's a 2-day laughter yoga leader training.
Mm.
And people will take that. There's two kind of camps. People that want to lead laughter club. So it's a great partner modality for yoga teachers, Pilates, breath work, anyone that does something already, just to add it on. You don't necessarily need to do a whole laughter yoga session. It can just be a little bit like school teachers. They can add laughter at the beginning of a class, to connect everyone, get everyone to calm down, like they get their energy out, and then, okay, now we're all connected. We're all like NLP, right? We're all in rapport. Um, yeah, so there's a 2-day training in person or online. I do that. And if somebody had a group, I would be happy to. I need just 6 people, and I would train them how to do it. Yeah.
oh, that's
Oh, and
wonderful.
it's kathysclub.com.
Don't worry, I'll make sure that all of that's included in the show notes as well. Oh, well, Cathy, I can't thank you enough for coming on and talking to me about worms and laughter yoga and sharing your really fascinating knowledge and beautiful experience with everyone.
I mean, if people want to be more sovereign, worms for amending the soil, laughter for your mental health. When we feel good, we do good, and that's what I'm hoping now, that we feel good.
Oh, you bring a lot of joy and medicine to the world. So thank you again.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Thanks for being here. If something's stirred within you today, that's not an accident. It's a shift. To go deeper, visit thesovereignshift.ca, where you'll find breathwork audios, resources, mini courses, workshops, and programs to support your reclamation, body, mind, and soul. Like, follow, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and toss us a follow on social media if you're so inclined. And remember, your breath is your power. Your truth is your compass. Your sovereignty is the revolution. Until next time, stay sovereign.